Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creatives where we sit down often with special guests and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry so you can learn from us and grow your wedding business. This is an on-topic episode featuring no guests except for Greg and I, and we're going to be talking about cultural relevancy. I'll just start. This is not planned. I've got a couple of show notes, but this is not really a planned episode. But I do want to talk about this because it came up recently, and I thought, ooh, interesting. Hadn't thought about this before. Do we need to reassess things moving forward?
What is cultural relevancy?
It's just the idea of, does our art or what we create, is that does it need to be a reflection on the time that it's made in? I don't know if that's the official definition, if I'm honest.
As wedding photographers, it always is. Like, it always does reflect the time. Like, if we look back at our weddings from 10 years ago, those weddings are completely different to the ones that are happening now.
That is very true.
The core concept is there. Two people get married.
Yes.
And usually they have a dinner. But they look different.
Yes. How often do people describe their work as timeless as well? It's like they want to remove that kind of cultural aspect of it to a degree. Anyway,
I think that's more in terms of their style of photography, like how they frame things, how they color things.
Yeah. That's
timeless. But it's always going to be dated in terms of fashion and stuff like that.
Yeah, true. I suppose with wedding work, it's not really a commentary on anything political, social political, or anything of that nature. Generally, it is the documentation of an event or a relationship, depending on how you want to define your work. And so I can fully understand the thought of cultural relevancy just skips a lot of people. So what made me want to talk about this topic? So I was on Facebook just for no reason, and an image popped up. Now, I can't remember if it was an ad or a sponsored ad or a sponsored post. I actually can't remember if it was, but there was a group of images from this photographer. Now, for the just so no one finds this photographer, I don't want to comment on this photographer's work. I have recreated an idea of this image so that you can get a visual representation of what I saw. But again, I don't want to call out the photographer. I don't even think what the photographer did was bad. It certainly wasn't. We've done something very similar in the past. And it's this image, and I'll post it on the video. Now, why did this stand out to me? Purely because my instant thought was of the LA fires, which are going on right at this minute. Now, if you look at the photograph, it's a traditional forest. Is there such a thing as a traditional portrait? It's a couple together. It's a bride and groom in a forest, lovely mossy floor.
It's a very common setup for an elopement photograph.
Yes.
Like, that idea is done a lot.
Yeah, it's in a forest. You can see in the recreation that I did the general idea. The original photograph featured a smoke grenade of white smoke, and it was taken at night, but it was, I think, I haven't spoken to the photographer, it was taken at nighttime or at least a darker hour, and there was a backlit that was artificial, and it was very warm. And my instant thought was, that to me looks like smoke fire. Now, in any other context, that would not have crossed my mind whatsoever. And it made me think, as wedding photographers and filmmakers, do we need to spend a little bit of time thinking about the cultural relevancy of the content that we post online? Not that we should do that when we think about creating something for a specific client. This is purely what is posted online because of the zeitgeist of these fires and the devastation that they've caused. I think when it comes to photography, there are images that certainly have captured a vibe. I used the word zeitgeist earlier. I think of the migrant mother. I think of the kiss from, is it New York? The sailor kissing. You don't know the kiss?
No.
For D-Day or for V-Day. I think of the photograph of the man on the moon or the Earth rising. Those type of images that kind of distill down what everyone was thinking and feeling at the time. And of course, there's a lot of political upheaval at the moment with TikTok being banned, Trump coming into office again, women's rights disappearing, and obviously natural disasters, global warming, all these kind of things. So do we need to think about that as wedding creatives? What do you think?
I don't know. Like, my main thought from that image is this person probably doesn't even remember that ad's running, and they've not processed the fact that, that's maybe a bit triggering this current time. So that's my thought from the ad that you saw.
Yeah.
Is
also
I don't think they've went, I'm going to post this smoke bomb image now because I think it will be relevant and connect or create attention. I think they've posted it a few months ago and not realised it's still running.
Quite possibly.
Potentially.
Because I went onto the person's Instagram page, and I do not see any of that. I don't see that particular image that struck me. There are similar ones.
Do I think that if you're sitting at home right now going, what image will I post tonight? Would I maybe hold off posting an image like that? Probably. I think it might go through my head, that's probably not very tasteful right now.
Yeah. I think maybe in the past that thought hasn't occurred to me. I can't think of any other situation other than what we're facing right now. Like with the wildfires in LA.
But in terms of, as an image, like if a UK photographer posts an image in a woods with some smoke, is it culturally speaking about the current time? I don't think so. I don't think it does. But then there's a photographer I follow on YouTube called Willem Verb.
Do you follow this person?
I don't know. I don't know his second name actually. Willem, and he's like a film photographer who lives in LA, who posted some incredible shots that
the film photographer.
Like they will be images that will probably stick around culturally.
This guy
for years to come of this moment and of this time. Like, I mean, that Bank of America one in particular. Look at that.
What an interesting image.
But if you're talking about like photos from world wars and stuff that have been, this signifies that current time, that's the sort of images that I'm like, those cover this cultural moment. Wedding photos, I don't think they do.
But like, you're never going to see, it would be extremely, extremely distasteful if you're to take a wedding couple and go, hey, here's a forest fire, let's have that in the background. You would never see that.
No.
Because it says something, obviously. Intentional. Oh my God, look at some of these images. Absolutely insane. Yeah. For anyone who is interested, it is Willem Verbeek. You can go on his Instagram as William Verb. The Bank of America one is a really interesting. I mean, this is probably looking too deep into an image, right? But to me, and I really hate to use the same word again, but that that almost captures what in some people's mind in the States to be a pure reflection of the zeitgeist at this moment, with Trump coming in and prices rising and inflation and everything that's going on with global warming and in the political state and, like I said, women's rights. Just something that is so structurally embedded in the American system, to see it represented in flames is quite a powerful image. So do you think we need to think about cultural relevancy when we create art? Do we need to think about it when we go to a wedding to create wedding work? Probably not, right?
I can't see many times where you have to stop yourself and think about something in that sort of sense at a wedding.
Yeah.
But maybe when it comes to the posting part, you might see some sort of connection and be like, you know what, I'll hold off.
Yes. And it's funny because when I brought this topic to you, you thought it has the potential to be distasteful. Like we were taking advantage of the fires, which I think these conversations need to happen. And obviously our thoughts go out to, I mean, we've had guests on the podcast who have been in danger because of this.
Yeah.
So our thoughts obviously go out to those who are literally struggling with this right now. But yeah, maybe think about, what does this say to anyone? The thing is, like, for our work, we do try to have a direct link to American couples coming over to Scotland. Mm-hmm. So there is that focus as well. If you're a photographer primarily based in Scotland who only shoots local weddings, do you need to think about an event that's happening halfway around the world? I suppose that's up to you to answer. Again, if you're posting online, that is a global community. So I suppose have that thought when you're posting. Another thing is, when I brought this to you, you mentioned being retrospective. Do we? Because it's not like this sort of image is new. Like, we've gone into a forest, we've used smoke grenades.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also, if you're going to use smoke grenades, do be safe. Carry water so you can douse any flames. Don't do it on extremely dry seasons. Like, just safety, please. But the whole backlit smoke grenade image is popular, and it has been popular for a while. Do we now need to retroactively go through our Instagram and take those images off? I personally don't think so, because of the time it was posted, LA fires weren't happening, or any natural disaster wasn't happening. You know?
Yeah.
We've said on many podcasts, were you burping?
I was burping.
Okay, lovely. We've said on many podcasts that you and I, as individuals, we don't really go on social media. We don't post our lives that often. I would say, however, I feel like I'm fairly connected in the world of news, especially American news. I find their whole political system super interesting. And obviously with the women's rights, being a supporter of feminists or, you know, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I've got a pretty good general sense of the world. Now, other communities, maybe less so, and I need to maybe look at that. But can one man simply look at all the news from all around the world? I do not know. Like we said, these on-topic episodes are supposed to be little short snippets of thoughts. Let's keep this one nice and short. Esme-wise, I went on a little bit longer, but yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have put out images or even thought about the political state of the world in which you're putting these images out, have you thought about it? Have you not thought about it? Should we? Shouldn't we? I'd love to hear your thoughts. However,
In the meantime,
enjoy your life.